Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today's presentation is about student affairs. My name, Emmanuel Njoku, Dean of Student Affairs at Anytown University. Today's training is to support you, professionals, for effective student affairs practices at the university. I will try to begin this session by explaining the foundations of student affairs, the guide to profession. I begin with Dr. Long's article that defines student affairs as a large, complex area of campus operations and comprised of many departments with professionals from variety of educational backgrounds. You are the people. You are the professional we are talking about. And I thank you for coming in today. So, we begin by talking a little bit of history of student affairs and the significance to what we do at higher education. Student affairs have dated back to early years of American higher education. Colonial era of American higher education poorly staffed colleges and universities. Colleges and universities become local parentis, meaning they become parents who are empowered to manage students seen as emotionally immature and require strict supervision. Colleges and universities developed rules and regulations that govern students' behavior, conduct, and activities as they enforced college rules and expectations. By mid-1800, academic life and American colleges and universities changed. Faculties were significantly influenced by European, particularly the German universities. American faculties subsequently and frequently began to do what? Earn higher degrees, developed expertise in specific what? In specific disciplines, and began to train graduates who shared our common interests. By 20th century, faculty involvement in student discipline had significantly diminished. Students began to participate in their own governance, creating student government, drafting honor codes, and adjudicating what? Allegations of rule and violations. Student affairs profession clearly emerged in the early 1900s. The National Student Affairs Professional Associations, such as what? The NASPA, the American College Personnel Association, were established that included what? Deans of men, women, and staff who focused on student personnel. By 1918, National Association of Student Personnel Administrators was established. By 1920, First administrators were hired by Harvard, which you know is the first American university, and many other land-grant universities to investigate student conduct and enforce university rules. By 1967, the National Association of Student Personnel Association opened in Detroit, Michigan, and personnel administrators grew over the years and established what? Good practices for student affairs professionals. What do we have? As a result of good practices, we now know that student affairs engages students in active learning, which means active learning invites students to bring their life experiences into what? Learning process, reflecting on their own and others' perspective as they expand their viewpoints. Good practice helps students. It provides opportunities for what? Students, faculty, and staff to demonstrate their values that define learning community. Good practice communicates high expectations to ensure an equal opportunity for all students to succeed no matter what their skill levels are. Good practice forges what? Educational partnership that advance what? Student learning. When students have increased their participation in class and developed structures that support what? Collaboration. Now, we talk about the First, Second, and Fifth Amendment as it pertains to student affairs professionals. The First Amendment protects what? Individual freedom of speech, the press, the right to peaceful assembly, and right to petition the government for redress of grievances. First clause of First Amendment, the Establishment Clause, prohibits what? Government from creating or forcing religion on individuals. The first clause allows religious expression, no matter what your denominations are. The second clause prohibits what? Restriction of free speech. The courts have interpreted speech to include what? Internet communication, art, music, clothing, and even flag burning. Free speech, religion, expression of ideas, you students are allowed to do that. So infringing on that is a liability to the school. Then the Second Amendment talks about freedom to bear firearms and to use firearms for lawful purposes. As you know, anytime university, we do not allow students to bring firearms on campus. The Fifth Amendment relates to the principles of due process and property rights of students. Students' property is information on what? Financial aid, tuition charges, enrollment contracts, access to programs and services. Those are their rights. Those are their properties. Whenever there are changes in their financial aid, they need to be informed. You need to communicate to them. Those are their properties when we talk about students' rights on financial aid. States, federal regulations that impact student affairs. Students have rights guaranteed by the Federal Constitution. Students have rights due to their status as residents of our state, protected by what? The state constitution. Students may have both what? Explicit and implicit contracts defining their relationship with what? With our colleges and universities. Students have rights to be free from intrusion upon their person, property, and reputation. Students affairs professionals must understand state and federal laws, regulations, and their implications. The Civil Rights Restoration Act of 1987 defined activity under all three statutes, Title VI, Title IX, and Section 504. We'll talk a little bit about these sections at the later. The implication of three statutes is that if a student attending our institution receives federal funding, the institution must conform to the status, including what? Non-credit and non-degree programs. We cannot discriminate on those students. Possible areas of discrimination include what? Discrimination can occur in minority students participating fully on campus life. Support services for the disabled, women, and the gay, lesbian, and bisexual transgender students. Title 4, Title 6, and Title 9, and the age discrimination. How do we avoid these areas? Services focus on integrating students who are what? Underrepresented. Programs that support what? African American, Latino, Latina, the LGBT, and women students who are generally underrepresented to navigate ethnic diversity of student community. Professionals help faculty to identify ways to accommodate the needs of particular students. Professionals like you ensure legal compliance to laws and regulations regarding what? Accommodation, the First, Second, and Fifth Amendments to the Constitution. Professionals prepare proper management of first year and transfer students to transition into what? Our college community. So what do we mean by diversity? What does it mean to student affairs professionals? Diversity means inclusion and support of what? Individuals from all groups, encompassing the various people in our community. Diversity explores differences, identities, and ideas in welcoming and nurturing academic environment. The benefits to students affairs professionals include civil teaching and learning and engagement of what? Community. Professionals provide what? Exceptional services, facilities, programs that promote what? Student success, fosters what? Diversity, and inclusive campus community that allow understanding of our GLBT gender group and disabled individuals. Expectations. What do we expect from you as student affairs professionals? Exemplify excellence. Student affairs professionals must exemplify leadership behavior that matches what? Our expectations. Committing to educate the entire student body and understand student learning does not occur exclusively within the classroom. Here for students, professionals respect students as individuals who matter and have dignity. Recognize each student is unique in his or her own personal experiences, circumstances, and needs. Professionals are ready to provide service to students and to the university. Professionals do not serve institutions' missions alone. They also serve to ensure that students are safe and well treated. The community. As a professional of student affairs, you build a sense of community between students and the college. This helps us to create opportunities to instill sense of what? Belonging and empathy for our students. As you see, the joy of student affairs professionals is the ability to do what? Assemble all these areas of our school activities and use what? Expertise to provide services that help the community and our students. Okay? Do you have any question? Again, if you do have a question, my email is here, and I will be glad to assist you in this role to make sure that you are successful as we go ahead. Congratulations. Thank you very much.